Starting. Hello, YouTube. There we go. And then TikTok. At least I got TikTok's microphone set up. That was, good at least. All right. Hey, guys. Welcome. Just getting TikTok going here. All right. Live TikTok. There we go. All right. Took a second there. Better now. All right. Hang on a second here. And then I can do our quick talk about Eurovision. We had our little Eurovision party. That was fun. Goofy, but fun. The winner was ridiculous, but that's what they do at Eurovision, sadly. They pick goofy winners. So, unfortunately. All right. TikTok is going live. Go live. There we go. Oop, go live. There we go. All right, TikTok. One moment. There we go. Reverse camera. All right. TikTok is live, baby. Woo woo. All right. Hello, all. How are we doing? Top chats. Boom. Hey, TikTokers. Hey, Big Hawk. Sean. Oh boy. Odalise. Okay, I'm trying to get the names correct here. Hey, Sherpachi. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Fantasy Island. Hey, Neil. Hey, Heather. Thank you for the gift. Yohani as well. So welcome, guys. It's Monday, May 19th. There's actually a decent amount of news today. Ukraine news, a little weird. A lot of Trump news. Oh, hey, Kifu in Romania. Thank you for the goose. Who is that? Oh, Yohani, thank you for the goose. Yeah, some Romanian news today. They had elections. It went well, thank God. Thank you, Ash. Thank you, Gabs. So yeah, that was good. Romanian elections were good. We're going to adjust my camera again. We're going to talk about that. Thank you, Pedro. Thank you, Camacho. TikTok, Richard, Chris. Lots of gifts today. Thanks, guys. Latvia did well. I can't remember how Latvia did in Eurovision. We watched Eurovision this weekend. That's the song contest. As always, the results are just ridiculous. They never picked the best. It was some ridiculous guy from Austria who was terrible. Thank you, Jill, for the goose. Thank you, the rest of you, for the gifts as well. Pedro, Big Hawk, Marsha, Adventures, Flower Lady. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun watching, but the results were ridiculous. They picked some guy that was terrible. He had this like a really bad falsetto and was just terrible. And I would say all the top 6 bands, none of the top bands got in the top 5. It's a crazy competition. They're going to investigate. Well, you know what? I mean, nothing to investigate. Israel did very well. Israel came in second. The fans loved Israel. So c'est la vie. Hey, Marsha. Thank you, Flower Lady. Anyway, so it was fun. Thank you, Adventures. Hey, Callum. Beep, beep, beep. The news. Let's get rolling on the news. So welcome, guys. This show, we talk about the latest news from Washington. We start with the Washington news, then we sort of do the Ukraine news as well. There is both tonight. There's actually a lot of Washington news. We'll get rolling with that. Just remember, I always hit you guys up for gifts, but that's because I do this for a living. Your gifts help pay the bills. So please do keep the gifts coming on TikTok, on YouTube. Subscriptions as well are great. Subscriptions are basically like, it might be $6 a month or something for a basic subscription. Maybe $4.99 a month on TikTok, on YouTube. I forget. Thank you, Maluda, Edsel, Martin, Laddie, Mark Starr. Jen's got the goose. We love the dead goose. Thank you, Crazy. Thank you guys for the gifts on TikTok. Let's get rolling with this. So a lot of news today. President Biden announced that he has metastatic prostate cancer. It's an aggressive cancer. Honestly, it's not a great diagnosis. I was looking this up. It's prostate cancer. It's aggressive, which isn't good. It is responsive to hormone treatments. That is good. It's already metastasized to his bones. That's bad. I was reading one doctor today saying you pretty much can't cure it once it goes to your bones, but you can treat it and slow it down. The other thing is he's 82 years old. That's not great, right? It's not like he had a long lifespan ahead of him. He's a frail 82-year-old, right? He's not, I've seen 82-year-olds where you're like, damn, they're like 70. They're like, really? Biden was not somebody you looked at and you went, damn, he's in good shape, right? He's an old 82. Biden almost has the age of a 90-year-old to me. So it's not great. Let's see what happens. It's not great news, but let's see. In any case, but they can do the treatment, which is good. The problem is he may need chemo or radiation because it's in his bones, and you're 82 and he's kind of frail. But let's see. I don't think it's great news across the board because he's not in great shape. That's the problem. But what do you do? Romania. Actually, I'm sorry. Let me read this. This was an interesting thing out of the story, the Washington Post. Listen to this. A doctor interviewed because the Trumpers, of course, it's a conspiracy. His cancer is a conspiracy. He knew about it and didn't tell us. It's like, yeah, sure he did. One of the doctors interviewed by the Washington Post was very interesting. The doctor said, it's not surprising if previous prostate exams or screenings while Biden was president failed to turn up indications of cancer. The doctor said, this happens all the time. It is not a very good screening test, and we need a better test. That's really scary to me. The idea that you could have stage four cancer that's already spread to your bones. And the first symptom is you're having discomfort while peeing, which is what Biden had. That no other symptoms, the PSA test, which are the tests they do for prostate cancer, don't always pick it up. That's really scary. I just was surprised because I thought too, like, how the hell did you miss this? It's not that uncommon, Oh, I see our Russian friends are upset today. Don't worry. We're going to talk about you guys later in your Afghanistan catastrophe you're having in Ukraine. We're going to get to it. Don't worry. We laugh at Russia later. Romania, actually, we can laugh at Russia now. The Russian candidate lost in the Romanian elections. Woo-woo! So Romania's presidential elections, you may recall, it's a two-stage election. You have one election first, and then the top two candidates, if nobody gets 50%, the top two candidates have a runoff. And then whoever gets over 50%, because it's two people, it wins. The first time around, like last December, the Russians interfered, and in the runoff, in the first election, the pro-Soviet, I'm going to call them pro-Soviet because that's who these guys are. This is the Soviet Union all over. They're not just Russian. They're Soviets, these guys. So is Orban in Hungary, as far as I'm concerned. He's a Soviet. The pro-Soviet candidate won, and they would have had to have the runoff. Well, the top court in Romania gets involved and looks into it and finds that the Russians cheated. And the Russians basically used TikTok to cheat the election. So they held a new election. Thank you, Marsha. They had a runoff, and the pro-Soviet candidate lost 45 to 54, which was good. A little bit, maybe 46 to 54. So that's good. He was upset, but he lost. Basically, pro-Russia, anti-European Union, anti-American, anti-Ukraine. They're Soviets. These guys are, as far as I'm concerned, these guys are wannabe Soviets. They want the Soviet Union back, right? They want to live under a dictatorship. I think they miss the days of the Soviet dictatorship of Eastern Europe when the Russians came and basically killed everybody, killed a lot of people in Eastern Europe in a horrible dictatorship. And they miss that. They want their little Russian friends to come back and be dictators again, Thank you, Marsha. So very good news in Romania. Back in American news, the House Republicans, thank you, Marsha, thank you, Jorge. The House Republicans did pass their budget proposal last night that would pass Trump's massive tax cuts. The budget proposal, the Republican, it's through the House now. It's still got to go through the Senate. The budget that Trump, or the budget sort of tax cuts that Trump is proposing are going to cost $3 trillion. Excuse me, I shouldn't say they're going to cost. Trump's tax cuts are going to cost like $4 to $5 trillion, but they're cutting like Medicaid, for example, right? They're cutting in Medicaid is a program we have in America that provides health care to poor people and disabled people. They're going to cut the program that provides health care to poor and disabled people and use that to pay for Trump's tax cuts for the rich. Even decimating Medicaid, they're going to add $3 trillion to the U.S. Deficit, to the U.S. debt. $3 trillion that Trump is going to add to the U.S. debt, even after cutting all these programs. What is incredibly frustrating is Republicans have convinced the American people that they're the party of fiscal responsibility, when every time the Republicans have come to power, and I mean it, since Reagan, they have destroyed the budget. Reagan came in, he destroyed the budget. He did a huge tax cut, it wiped us out. Bill Clinton came in, he fixed it. Bill Clinton came in, he inherited Reagan's deficit. Clinton cut programs, and Clinton got us into a surplus. Clinton literally left the budget with a $400 billion surplus. George Bush comes in, $1.3 trillion tax cut, blows the budget. Barack Obama comes in. At this point, spending already went crazy. Well, first, Bush blew the surplus. Then 2008 happens. Remember, the economy crashes. We were in threat of a global depression, remember? So spending goes through the roof under Bush, but it was necessary to save the economy. Obama comes in and the spending starts coming down, but it was very high because of this. Trump comes in, spends like a drunken sailor. And this is before COVID, spends like a drunken sailor and has massive tax cuts that cost billions of dollars. Trump's tax cuts. The deficit goes through the roof. The debt goes through the roof. Trump added more debt than Biden. Biden takes over, and Trump's debt was like twice the debt Trump added that Biden did. Biden's debt was half of Trump's. Even when you take out COVID, because everybody goes, oh, COVID was so bad. That's why Trump spent money. Nope. When you take out COVID, Trump still added more to the deficit than Biden did. And Trump is back now. And now he's going to add $3 trillion from his tax cuts. Tax cuts don't cost. Tax cuts typically cost $1 to $2 trillion. Trump's are going to cost around $5 trillion for Trump's tax cuts. It's outrageous. And then they're going to cut Medicaid and get it down to $3 trillion. It is outrageous what these people are doing. It is fiscally irresponsible. I mean, I don't want to pay more in taxes personally, but it is fiscally irresponsible what these guys are doing. They are, and by the way, that's why we lost our AAA credit rating on Friday. The U.S. did, because they looked at it and said, you know what? No party wants to fix the budget. And clearly the guys in power right now don't want to fix it. They're about to pass a budget that breaks the budget again. And they did it. They did it. So very bad news. Supreme Court today let the Trump administration, for now, remove protections from nearly 350,000 Venezuelan immigrants who had been allowed to remain in the U.S. without risk of deportation under a program known as temporary protected status. So basically, Biden had a program that immigrants from, or refugees from Venezuela, could stay here temporarily, and Trump is kicking them out. He's kicking out the Venezuelans. He's kicking out the Cubans. Mind you, Venezuela is like a government. It's a authoritarian government that we hate. The U.S. hates. Trump hates them. The Republicans hate the Venezuelan government. The left doesn't like them either, but the Republicans hate them. And we're kicking out the refugees from an authoritarian government we hate. We're kicking out the Cubans too. Trump's doing the same thing to the Cubans. He's kicking out the Cuban refugees. Cubans, who are like the number one Republican voters, kicking them out. Probably going to do the same thing to the Ukrainians as well. Really unbelievable. So what the judge said today, thank you, Marsha, for the gifts. Keep the gifts coming, guys. Thank you, Gothic. Thank you, Life. What the judge said today was not that Trump is allowed to do it, but he's allowed to do it pending the court case. Pending the court case. Meaning, for now, Trump can keep kicking them out while the matter is in court being adjudicated, whether Trump in the end should be allowed to do this. But the judge did allow him to keep kicking him out for now, so that's not great news. Thank you, Randy Fred. Elon. So Elon's missing. This is kind of fun. Elon Trump is missing. Not like missing from Earth, but missing from Trump land. You might recall that Elon pretty much was like co-president. Problem is, Elon pissed off Trump, and he pissed off Tesla. And he pissed off the voters. A lot of people don't like Elon. Elon was probably the most unpopular of Trump's aides. And he turned Tesla into a dirty word, right? People like you and me will never buy a Tesla for the rest of our lives because I think Tesla's responsible for killing children in Africa. Just like Bill Gates said about Elon Musk. Bill Gates literally accused last week Elon Musk of killing children. And I accuse Tesla of the same. Tesla is Elon. They're responsible for this. I will never touch that company again. And Tesla got to the point a couple of weeks ago, according to the press, that they were going to replace Elon because they were so sick of the terrible news, how Elon has destroyed Tesla's name, and all the the analyses showed Tesla's, not just their stock is in the shitter, but Tesla's sales are gone. Horrific sales in Europe, in Germany, in UK, in Scandinavia, Netherlands, and America. Tesla's sales are, because nobody wants them. I mean, basically, as I said, it's the car of the guy who thinks Enzi's, right? He's the Enzi salute car. You know what I mean? Like the car that supports fascists in the UK and fascists in Germany and fascists in Italy and fascists in France. Who the hell wants to associate with a company like that? So anyway, lots of reasons why nobody wanted to associate with Elon. So Tesla basically threatened him and said, "We're going to replace you unless you come back." Elon said, "Okay, I'm going back. I'm going to do less of the government stuff." Well, Trump hasn't even talked about him now. Let me read you this from Politico. It's very interesting. Trump used to mention Musk on Truth Social, Trump's little Twitter, every few days, but now has not posted about Musk in a month. Trump's fundraising operation has largely ceased sending emails that name check Elon. In February and March, Trump posted about Elon an average of roughly 4 times a week. Since the beginning of April, Trump hasn't mentioned Musk once on Truth Social. Trump is also no longer using Elon's name to bring in money. In February, Trump's fundraising operation invoked Elon Musk in emails to online supporters on a near daily basis, but mentions of Musk and fundraising appeals abruptly stopped in early March. They think he's toast, basically. Now, the Republicans still want Elon's money. So Trump isn't going to badmouth Elon. But A, Elon is in the shitter in the polls. Nobody likes him. B, Tesla said you better get your butt back here, or we're not going to, you better get your butt back here, or we're not going to, we're going to kick you out. C, there were already tensions there because Elon really thought he was president. Elon clearly thought he was president, right? And Trump doesn't like anybody who thinks he's president. And Elon, at the very least, thinks he's an equal to Trump. Trump doesn't like that stuff. Elon was getting not just negative publicity, Elon was getting too much publicity overall. And I think that was the final reason why Trump was like, you know what, time for you to go for now. But again, Trump has to do it in a nice way. Oh, what a surprise. Our Palestinian friends are trying to invade our show again. What a surprise. Winning friends and influencing people. Congratulations. Another notch against you. So yeah, there you go. I'm going to keep mentioning it so those of you who are regulars know how many times the Palestinians come and try to crash our show, because it's obnoxious. They do it on a daily basis. It's incredibly offensive. And I think it says something about their movement that they think this kind of crap is acceptable. It's really not acceptable. It's obnoxious. It's offensive. It's rude. And it doesn't speak well to their movement. So let's move on. But congratulations, because you are continuing to tick me off against your movement. So congratulations. Really smart strategy. All right, what else we got here? Ashley Babbitt. So Ashley Babbitt is the woman who got herself killed storming the Capitol, trying to violently overthrow our government. You remember, of course, January 6, 2021, Trump sent thousands of people to try to violently overthrow our government, to stop the election, and to basically stop Congress from swearing in the right candidate and forcing them to swear in the wrong candidate as part of Trump's overall effort to steal the election. And the violent insurrectionists were trying to storm an area of Congress that the members of Congress were hiding in. The Secret Service or security had corralled a number of these, maybe 100 or something, members of Congress into a room and back to protect them. And they locked the doors, these glass doors, and the security was at the door with guns and told them, stop, do not come in here, stop. The mob was at the door. The mob starts, just if somebody's, stop spamming or you're going to get blocked. Just warning, last warning on TikTok. The mob is at the glass door. They start breaking through the glass windows. And Ashley Babbitt, who's one of the mob members, one of the insurrectionists, decides she's going to come through one of the windows into the area, into the anteroom where the members of Congress are hiding from this violent mob. And she got shot. And they told her, stop or we're going to shoot you. And they shot her and she died. Well, as always with MAGA, the lie is much better than the truth. Thank you, Monica. They've turned her into a hero. That's not surprising because they've turned all the insurrectionists into a hero. These are domestic terrorists. Trump forgave them all. Trump gave them all pardons. Well, Now they're giving her family $5 million of your money and my money because she was dumb enough to get herself killed trying to violently overthrow the government. And they're giving her $5 million. Let me read you this. Trump's administration is set to pay nearly $5 million to the family of Ashley Babbitt to settle a lawsuit brought by her estate. Basically, a big chunk of the money is going to her lawyers. A big chunk of the money is going to a big right-wing MAGA advocacy group called Judicial Watch, and her family gets another chunk of the money. They filed lawsuit last year. Guys. I would love to know what date they filed this lawsuit, because I've got a feeling this lawsuit was filed so that because they knew it was Trump. And what happens? By settling, Trump says, I'm going to give you money, and I'm going to give this Republican group money, taxpayer money. He just gave $5 million of our money away to his cronies. Not just to his cronies. He gave it away to a domestic terrorist. Basically, bottom line. Someone who tried to violently overthrow our government. Absolutely boggles the mind here. $5 million of your money to a domestic terrorist. You know, really, 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 really amazing. Absolutely blows my mind. Finland. Okay, so the Finland story finally came out. Last week, there were, thank you, Alan, thank you, Deep, thank you, Marsha. There were stories going around that were kind of bullshitty about Finland, and they were hysterical stories from all the fake newspapers, the Finnish Times and the whatever, all these fake, the Industry Times. There are all these fake publications online, and Newsweek too, which is another fake publication now. And the stories, oh my God, the Russians are getting ready to invade Finland. They're not. But the New York Times did do a nice expose on what the Russians are doing, which I thought was interesting. And I'm going to read you a few paragraphs because it was quite interesting. In a nutshell, the Russians are preparing for the next war. And they are building up near Finland. They're particularly doing it because of the Arctic. That seems to be the main reason, because the Russians have a long-term goal of taking over the Arctic. And Finland is near the Arctic, and that's part of their goal, is to basically, prepare for war with Finland just in case the Russians decide to go after NATO, but also to go after the Arctic. Let me read you this. Russian forces have been beefing up bases and building military infrastructure near the Finnish border, according to recent satellite imagery, in moves that could reveal their strategy for what happens after the Ukraine war. This is the New York Times. The imagery, confirmed by NATO officials, shows row after row of new tents, new warehouses that can store military vehicles, renovations to fighter jet shelters, and steady construction activity on a helicopter base that has been mostly unused and overgrown. Remember I said last week, I doubt they're putting planes and trains and military equipment and soldiers, because they don't have it, because they're all in Ukraine. The story confirms it. They're not putting military equipment. They're putting storage facilities for planes, right? Storage facilities for troops, for military. So they're basically putting the infrastructure they need to eventually move near the Finnish border, but they're not moving troops and things near the Finnish border right now. So far, the moves seem to be the early stages of a larger long-term expansion, and NATO officials say this is nothing like the buildup along the Ukrainian border before the Russian full-scale invasion of 2022. For now, Russia, preoccupied with its war in Ukraine, has very few troops along the frontier, and the Finns insist that none of this is much of a threat yet. Finnish defense officials predict that if the high-intensity phase of the Ukraine war ends, one of the goals of the struggling peace efforts unfolding in Turkey, Russia will deploy thousands of troops to the Finnish border. Thank you, Karis. The Finns think they have 5 years or so before Russia can build up its forces to threatening levels, but they are confident it will happen and that the number of Russian troops facing them will triple. It's about Finland, but it's also about the Arctic. So it is a long-term threat. It's important to remember it is not a threat right now. The Russians are not preparing to go to war against Finland now. Are the Russians preparing to go to war against Finland someday? Maybe. But if they do that, they'd be going to war against all of NATO. And the only way they're going to do that is if we convince them that we're going to let them go to war against NATO and they're not going to go to war against all of us. Trump, unfortunately, has put some doubt in that regard. But for the rest of the world, less so. Ukraine. Let's talk about Ukraine, and then we'll continue here. There is some big Ukraine news. It is day 1,180 of Vladimir Putin's special military operation in Ukraine. Trump, okay, very weird thing happened today. Trump today claimed he pulled a Houthi. Remember what the Houthis, whatever the hell it is, that Trump lost and then tried to claim victory? He couldn't beat them. He was trying to bomb them for 6 months, and after 1 month, he gave up and said, "Oh, victory, right? Peace treaty, victory," because he lost, basically. That's what, so anyway, thank you, Aviation. Thank you, Pickles. He's doing the same thing now with Russia. Trump came out today and initially made it sound like, oh my God, he had a 2-hour phone call with Vladimir Putin, and now Putin agreed to a ceasefire negotiations. No, he didn't. Literally didn't agree to anything. I mean, the stories on this are amazing because you read all the stories are going, nothing's been agreed to. Let me read you this from the Wall Street Journal. President Trump said, the conservative Wall Street Journal, mind you, President Trump said he had an excellent 2-hour phone conversation with Russian President Putin Monday, though the two failed to agree on an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine that has been pressed by the Trump administration and European allies. After their call, neither Trump nor Putin, thank you for the gift there, Pickles Aviation, who's at Marcia. After their call, neither Trump nor Putin signaled that they had reached a breakthrough in the negotiations. Trump said that Ukraine and Russia will continue their conversations towards a ceasefire and that the Vatican has offered to host negotiations. It's unclear if the U.S. will remain as a broker. They agreed to nothing. Trump said Ukraine and Russia are going to try to continue a negotiation to a ceasefire, but there's no plans to. They agreed to nothing, and Trump claimed it as a victory. At the same time, J.D. Vance, being the Russian sycophant that he is, came out and once again said that if Russia continues to stonewall and not do anything towards peace, the U.S. is going to go home and just give Ukraine to Russia. Pretty much what he said today, and which kind of makes you go, well, then why wouldn't Russia just stonewall? I mean, Vance literally said, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said, if Russia continues to stonewall and continues to refuse to even negotiate, then the U.S. might just go home and give Ukraine to Russia. Okay, if I'm Russia, I'm going, good. So you mean if I as the Russians obfuscate and refuse to even talk about peace, you, America, will get so upset that you're going to go home and give me Ukraine? Then I guess I will obfuscate and not talk about peace. Because you just told me the best way to make America go home and give Ukraine over to the Russians is for the Russians to do nothing and refuse peace. So it's crazy. Thank you, Steve C. Honestly, Democrats, being sucky at messaging that they are, ought to be talking about Afghanistan. Everyone should be talking about this as Trump's Afghanistan. Now, the first Afghanistan was also Trump's Afghanistan. Trump was responsible for the first withdrawal from Afghanistan. He's the one who actually literally agreed to the withdrawal. He wrote out the terms. Biden's withdrawal was literally Trump's withdrawal. Trump withdrew 2/3 of our troops from Afghanistan. Biden withdrew, can't speak English here, withdrew the last 1/3. Biden withdrew them because Trump made him. It was part of the deal. Biden didn't want to. Biden delayed the withdrawal. Trump got upset about the delay and even went public after Trump had left the presidency in April of 2017. Trump went public and said, no, I'm not 2017, 2021, excuse me. April of 2021, Trump went public and said, Joe Biden, this is my deal. I made it so you have to withdraw. Don't you slow down the withdrawal. Trump was actually concerned that Biden was slowing down the withdrawal from Afghanistan. And in April of 2021, Trump went public, Google it, and urged Biden to keep pulling out troops now. No, don't slow down. Biden did slow down. He drew it out another 3-4 months to be safe, and it wasn't enough. Trump's evacuation from Afghanistan, as we know, was a disaster. Democrats and everybody else should be talking about this is Trump's Afghanistan part 2. He is going to hand, and we should, honestly, if Democrats were good at messaging, they would do what I'm telling you. They would say, the first Afghanistan was Trump's too. What would Republicans do? Republicans would absolutely blame Afghanistan on us if they could. They do. Blame Afghanistan 1 on Trump. This is now Afghanistan 2, and Trump is doing it again. He's handing another country over to the bad guys. This time it's the Russians. There you go. What else we got? Oh, Sky News. Here's Sky News. So Sky News also talking about Trump's breakthrough with Putin today. Listen to this. How can this be spun by Donald Trump as anything other than a U.S. president who has failed in negotiation, diplomacy, and the stewardship of this conflict? Vladimir Putin, if he has not played Donald Trump and not humiliated him thus far, then that readout that the Russians are giving us reinforces the notion that he is very much in control of events, Putin. At every turn, Putin has thwarted Trump's diplomacy by ignoring calls for a ceasefire, calls for a meeting, and calls to stop bombing. There's a point at which it takes on the look of humiliation, of a U.S. president being played. We may already be there. Trump just declared, as Trump does, Trump loses, he's a loser. Trump loses and declares victory. I'm telling you, he was not a good first president. He was not a good president. He was a terrible president last time. He was a crook, and he was incompetent, and he killed lots of people during COVID and everything else, right? But he wasn't this bad. This time, Trump keeps losing. It's as if he's weaker this time. He vacillates a lot. He goes back and forth, and now he's just outright caving to Russia. And trying to spin it all as a victory. Actually, think about the border wall too. Think about, again, I go back to the border wall with Mexico. Trump was going to build a wall. He knew it wasn't going to matter. It wasn't going to help. Illegal immigration is horrible from Mexico. We get way too much. It's a horrible crisis. But Trump was going to build a wall, and he didn't build it. He built like 53 new miles of wall, literally, and that was it. He did nothing. I mean, there was nothing permanent he did to stop people coming illegally across the border. This is what he does. He basically declares victory when he loses, and then that's the end of that. That's the end of that, right? It's very, I would say interesting. It's not really interesting. But that Poppy was another talking point person, if you could tell. Yeah. I always say that. The trolls come and they read talking points that don't make sense. That person read a talking point that said, calm down. And it was like, except right now we're not getting excited. So that talking point in English doesn't quite work right now. So, oh, well. What else we got here? Ukraine is eyeing peace talks with Russia, the U.S., and the European Union, and possibly the Vatican. At least Ukraine's proposing it. Hungary is looking, Orban's party is looking to pass a Putin-style foreign agents bill. It's basically a Soviet-style legislation that's meant to kill democratic opposition to the country. They're doing it in Georgia. They're doing it in Russia under Putin. And now Hungary's going to do the same thing. At least he's trying to do it, Orban's party, because they basically want to get rid of media. They want to get rid of civil society groups, civil rights groups, election monitoring groups. They're trying to get rid of them all because, as I've said before, Orban is a wannabe Soviet. He's a wannabe Russian, but he's a wannabe Soviet. And he wants to bring Hungary back to where it was under the Soviet Union, which was a brutal dictatorship. And very sad and very sick, too, that the Hungarian, I'm sorry, but you know what? You're still a democracy. The fact that you're okay with this really, it really does. It makes me very disappointed in Hungary because, and and I don't spare my country either. My country voted for one of these people too, but we should be blamed for voting for one of these people, as should you guys. This morning, Russian prosecutors said Amnesty International is now they banned Amnesty International in Russia. It is now an undesirable organization, and if you work with them, you can go to prison in Russia. Amnesty International. Now, Amnesty International, I'm sure, is a pain in the ass, right? If you're a dictator, but the idea of banning them, the irony is, if you've got to ban Amnesty International, it says exactly who you are, right? You're proving you're a dictator if you ban Amnesty International. That's just like, in a way, it's kind of like, thank you, Vladimir Putin. You've proven who you are, right? What else we got here? Finland is going to send ammunition to Ukraine using proceeds from frozen Russian assets. Under the agreement, Finland will provide 90 million euros, approximately $100 million worth of heavy ammunition procured from domestic suppliers. That is the news for the day. We still hang out and talk, as you all know, so don't go anywhere. Thank you, Louis, for the mustache. Actually, I wanted to pull something up on ChatGPT because somebody had raised a good question. And it's funny. I don't know the definitive. They were asking why the Arctic matters. And I don't know the definitive answer. I shouldn't say I know. I suspect there are minerals there. I suspect there might be oil. I know that strategically, if you think about it, the Arctic is very important for air flights because a lot of air flights go over the Arctic. It's a important shipping channel, as Atlanta just said. It also is right in the middle. I mean, it's on top, but there's no top and bottom with the Earth. It's right in the middle of all these countries, the US, Canada, right? All the European countries. I mean, you've got all of these countries that are close to the Arctic. Rockets going through the Arctic. But let me ask here. Russia is increasingly focusing on the Arctic, period. Why is the Arctic so important? Strategically, economically, et cetera. All right, let's see what else it comes up with. Snow cones, very important as well, as Jeffrey just said. Oh, this is interesting, actually. This is interesting. The Arctic holds an estimated 13% of the world's undiscovered oil, 30% of its undiscovered natural gas. Okay, that's interesting. Minerals, rare earth elements, nickel, copper, and precious metals are abundant. Russia sees the Arctic as central to its long-term energy strategy. Key oil and gas fields are being developed despite sanctions and harsh conditions. Shipping, as you guys noticed. Melting ice is making the NSR, the Northern Sea Route along Russia's northern coast, more navigable. I remember this. This was basically the sea ice made it so that you couldn't get through before. The ice is starting to melt, and you can literally take ships now, like through Canada and some other places up north. You can cut through where you couldn't cut through before. Russia claims control over the Northern Sea Route and wants to regulate and profit from international shipping using it. Russia has the world's largest fleet of icebreakers, including nuclear-powered ones, giving it a major logistical advantage. Military and strategic, Russia has reopened old Soviet-era bases, built new ones, and stationed radar systems and anti-aircraft missiles in Arctic. The Arctic is critical for the deployment and concealment of Russia's nuclear-armed submarines, especially under the polar ice cap. The Arctic provides a direct route to North America, making it relevant for both offensive and defensive missile strategy. Climate, Russia has submitted claims to the UN, for example, expanding rights over the Arctic seabed, arguing that its continental shelf extends far into the Arctic. As the ice melts, competition intensifies with countries like Canada, Denmark, Norway, and even China. I like this. China calls itself a near Arctic state. Okay, that is Orwellian, that China is near Arctic. I don't know about that. So there you go. Long-term energy wealth, strategic military depth, future in global shipping, national prestige, and leverage in global politics. That was actually a pretty good summary from ChatGPT. I will give it credit for that one. That was pretty good. So, most of Russia's nukes in the Arctic, I doubt it. The Arctic is going to have nuclear submarines. Russia's got nuclear silos around the country, so they've got nukes in the ground. That's a good question, though. First of all, so we're not going to know how many missiles are in the submarines and where they are. But let's see this. How many nuclear weapons does Russia have, and how are they divided up, land, air, and sea? I don't know if we know, but let's see if we know. Patrick, somebody has to get rid of Patrick. Bye, Patrick. Oh, why? No, stop. Why am I not following you anymore? Sorry, Patrick. I thought you were saying you weren't following me anymore. Oh, and what a surprise. A Palestinian person just tried to crash our show. What a surprise. Obnoxiously trying to come on the show and rudely interrupt the show for you guys. Surprise. I'm telling you, every show the Palestinians come and try to crash the show. But I'm sure they're very nice neighbors to the Israelis. I'm sorry, guys. This is the shit I grew up with. This kind of obnoxious shit is exactly the stuff that drives me crazy. It's exactly the kind of rude stuff that drives me nuts. It is obnoxious as hell. So let me see what it said about the Russian missiles. All right. Land-based missiles, 800 warheads. Submarine-based missiles, 640 warheads. Air-based missiles, 270. So on airplanes and on bombers, 270. Sea submarine launch, 640. Land-based ICBMs, 800. So it's kind of a mix. And the submarine-based ones, some of them are going to be in the Arctic, but we don't really know. Sorry, Patrick. I thought you were writing and saying why I don't follow you. Like, this is why I don't follow you anymore. And I was like, well, that was rude. Sorry. We get so many crazy people that, like, you see these comments and you go, oh God, another one. Sorry, Patrick. It's good that I read twice. Yeah, that happened. Let me get the dog some water. I found actually on Twitter, it unfollows me on people too. 1 second. One moment. Water for the dog. All right. I find that on Twitter, like that basically I just stop following people. And it's kind of annoys me. Like, people I know I'm not following. What TikTok does, TikTok will just stop showing me people's videos. Somebody crossed my, what's his name? Forrest. He's a science guy. He's like a science teacher in high school in the Midwest somewhere. Nice guy. Very interesting. Very energetic. Forrest Valkyrie or some name like that. I haven't seen his videos in over a year. His videos finally popped up on my For You page. I love Forrest's videos. And they've been hiding them from me, basically. It's very annoying. Yeah. The algorithm stuff. What do you do? But, if I give her a bigger water bowl, then she's going to pee all over the floor all night. And she's going to throw up. That's the first thing. She would drink a cup of water and then throw up all over. Then she'd drink it again off the floor. And then she'd pee every 15 minutes. Now you know why the dog does not get a bigger water bowl. You asked. That's literally why. I have to apportion it out, especially in the evening. And the big fun, in the middle of the night, she also may wet the bed. That's the pièce de résistance of giving her too much water, is me waking up at 4 a.m. and the bed's wet. So you want to know why I don't give the dog more water? Now you know. So anyway, renegade science teacher. Okay, there he is. Amanda says Forrest is on TikTok, renegade science teacher. He is so good. I so enjoy him. He's so enjoyable. Anyway, so go check Forrest out. Hold on a second. I'm going to make sure I put my air on again in here. The room is going back and forth from hot and cold. Although actually the door, it's 73 out. I could probably, I think I can put the door ajar. Maybe that might be okay. I think we can. Yeah. It'd be a little bit more. Hello from Panama, Juan Perez. I have family in Panama, and I've been to Panama very long time ago though, but I have family there too. Anyway, what else is going on, guys? So yes, let's, this is the part of Sprockets wenn wir dance. Now, this is the part of the show we sort of hang out and just chat. So chat away, whatever you like. It's actually still pretty early. I mean, there was a lot of news, but Panama, no, he's not talking about Panama, which is interesting. You're right about that. Trump is not talking about Panama. I was surprised about that. Yeah. Remember, he was going to invade Panama and take it over? Not so much anymore. Yeah, Don Jr. So Don Jr., piece of work that he is, decides to weigh in on Biden's cancer. And what I thought was interesting about it is, see if I have it here on my phone. Otherwise, I've got it on Twitter that I can pull up if I have to. Yes. So Don Jr., first, someone tweets, Joe Biden has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. Politics aside, we wish him a speedy recovery. And Don Jr. says, agreed 100%. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of amazing. 5 hours before. Don Jr. is actually, Trump's son, who's really obnoxious, is wishing Biden a speedy recovery. That's actually surprisingly sweet and human of him. Then you go 2 hours after that, and some guy writes a thing that basically says, it's highly likely he was carrying a diagnosis of prostate cancer throughout his White House. This Biden must have known in the White House that he had cancer and he was hiding it from the American people. And Trump Jr., after tweeting, we all should agree that Biden should get a speedy recovery. He then tweets, What I want to know is how Dr. Jill Biden misses stage 5 metastatic cancer, or is this yet another cover-up? Okay, first of all, not the brightest guy out there. There is no stage 5 cancer. There's 4 stages of cancer. My dog knows that there's 4 stages of cancer. Nobody says stage 5. Oh, sure, she is jumping around. Nobody says stage 5 cancer, right? I mean, what planet are you on? Second of all, Dr. Jill Biden, she's a teacher. Her PhD is in education. She's not an MD. Why did he think she was an MD? Third, even if his wife was an MD, do you think she's doing prostate exams on her husband? Like, what is he talking about? Stage 5 is Deadpool? Or is that a Deadpool joke or what? Is that what you mean or what? I don't know what that means, Joshua. But like, he sits there and puts out this wonderful message saying, look, we should all agree that we wish Biden well, and then turns around 3 hours later and just puts out a conspiracy theory and attacks Biden's wife. I mean, yeah. I can't say certain things. I know what Deadpool is. I'm asking you what stage 5 is. What do you mean? I just don't get your joke. I wasn't sure if that was a joke or what that was. It's okay. I just don't get it. I know what Deadpool is. Yeah. It's very low class. I mean, this is who they are, again, things I would say about him, but I can't because TikTok wouldn't like it, but there. Anyway, thank you, audio producer. I'm going to yell at you now. Sorry. Oh, man. Oh, I think I'm going to sit back now. My back's doing much better, though. I still want to sit back and relax a little bit, but the back is doing much, much, much better. So, let's get this. Good enough. Good enough. Here, we'll do that. All right. Good enough there. Oh, my little box to go back to Amazon. All right. What else? Sorry, making you yawn. Well, can't help it. See, every time you talk about yawning, though, you're going to get me to yawn. So be aware of that. Dog is good. She just got up and played with her toy for about 3.2 seconds. Oh, she's right there, actually. Oh, she's stalking me. I didn't see her. The TikToker, the YouTubers in the Discord, folks, for the TikTok. Now that you say this, I look and she's literally right here staring me down. Now she's not staring anymore, but you can see her. She's kind of hanging. She's hanging out. She's hanging. Dog's hanging. So, she wants to, it's a little early for her to want to play, but she kind of wants to play. So I don't know. Oh yeah. We got the stuff back from the UPS store. It's at my brother-in-law's. We may open it up first to scan the family tree. So, still trying to get this. Yep. That's not bad. That's okay. That's pretty good. It's a little low because I'm sitting back in my chair, but it's not bad. Anyway. Oh, so what else, guys? Thank you, James. Oh. No, my brother-in-law simply went and got it. We got it back by my brother-in-law going to the store and saying, give it to me. So, of course, it's at his house now, but at least it's one step closer. But I've got to call him because we do need him to take the family tree and scan it, which is not going to be fun. But, possible volcanic activity, where's that? Where is that? In America. Oh, excuse me. La, la, la. What else, guys? We talk the news. Beautiful day in DC, though. Oh my God. Like I said, 73 today. Well, right now it's 73. Eurovision? I don't know how to even cap Eurovision. there were 27 bands or something crazy. I couldn't even begin to recap it. I can't even remember. I just remember several were like Iceland. Was it Iceland? I don't even have my notes in front of me. Iceland was excellent. They got nowhere. Sweden was excellent. They went nowhere. Denmark, not my kind of music, but she was excellent. Went nowhere. San Marino was excellent. They went nowhere. The guy from Austria was horrific. He won. Armenia was excellent. That's right. Armenia. The Armenian guy was amazing. He went nowhere. It's a really weird show because it's not, I mean, the judges are all political and the fans, who knows? I mean, I don't know. The fans are a little crazy. Who knows what the fans like? Did Sweden get fourth in the end? Nino, are you sure? That's something at least because Sweden was very good. So that's actually good that Sweden got fourth. The Israeli woman was fine. I didn't think she was number 1 or 2 by the song, but she was but having said that, she was very good. The Greek was very good. You mean like they were very good. But I thought like Sweden was really fun in a Eurovision kind of way, you know? The espresso, I hated the espresso macchiato guy. I thought the clip of espresso macchiato was good. When I saw him do the performance, I went, oh my God, I hate this. I really did not like it. Like I said, the clip was funny. But the whole song itself, I was kind of bored. You know, Croatia, I never saw. Oh, excuse me. I don't think I saw Croatia. Hey, Sharon. I don't remember Latvia. Sweden was good. Sweden's was fun. It was goofy. It was different. It was just fun, you know? Like I said, Iceland had kind of a boy band in silver, and they were really good. They should have done better because they were very good. What do you do? Like I said, and San Marino's song was a lot of fun, Tutta l'Italia, but they didn't do well either. It's very weird. It's a weird show, but I've noticed this in previous years. Like the good ones don't win. I'm surprised. Move this out of the way of the sun. I'm surprised ABBA even won. The UK song I thought was kind of stupid. It was okay. It was okay. It was kind of stupid, but it wasn't bad. I mean, the Austrian guy was bad. He was just, the German one wasn't terrible. It got on my nerves after a while, but it was catchy. The Austrian guy was just bad. He had this really bad falsetto. It was just bad. Mustard wants to talk about Biden. I read a quote from New York Times or Washington Post interviewing a doctor who actually said it was not unusual at all for them to miss it, that they miss prostate cancer all the time, and that the tests are not that good. That the test, it's not like, oh, you do a PSA test, and when the number goes up, you're catching prostate cancer. He said, oh, the tests are terrible, that they miss stuff all the time. I was surprised because I looked at it and went, how the hell do you miss aggressive prostate cancer? He said all the time, which is very scary, actually, when you think about it. You know what I mean? You're like, so that's why. Oh, excuse me. Oh. I think the Austrian guy can't sing, personally. I think his falsetto is forced. The other falsetto of the guy the year before I thought was pretty good. That they showed the Swiss guy, or a couple years before, the Swiss guy was very good. This one can't sing. You know? So. And I do buy the fact that Biden didn't have it because he's not a Republican. Donald Trump has lied about pretty much every physical he's ever had as president. We know that. I mean, Trump literally lied about his physical. They claimed Trump grew an inch in his 70s. You don't grow an inch in your 70s. From age 40 on, you shrink an inch to an inch and a half. There are 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a half. Trump claimed he grew an inch in his 70s. They lied. They claimed he was like 19 pounds. They lied. He was clearly morbidly obese. They lied about his heart condition. They lied about everything. So, we're going to talk about who lied about their health. Biden wouldn't lie about his health. No. Biden, sadly, is too honest of a guy. I wish he weren't. I wish Biden were the dishonest guy that the MAGA people like to claim, but he's not. So, yeah. Having said that, Trump has been lying from day one about his health. We know that. So, what do? More water, what? I'm not giving you another treat. You can get more water. That's all you're getting. No. Just trying to get me to She's trying to get me to give her a treat. She's not getting a treat. She's not getting a treat. Oh man, she's not getting a treat. So, anyway, boom, boom. Ah. Oh, sorry, Patty. People do get prostate cancer. I mean, they can die from it. It's like you don't think about it, but they can. Yes, Sasha was treat begging. Burkina Faso. I don't know anything about what's going on in Burkina Faso right now. Were they another coup? I don't know what's going on there now. Your dog had prostate cancer. That's wild. Wow. Yeah, what I need for the dog, I need like a water thing though. That's like gotta like I can do with my phone or something, and I could dole out how much water. Like say, give her half an ounce of water or something. You know what I mean? Like give her a tablespoon. And it goes. Gives her a tablespoon. that would be useful. Yes, but only useful for the show. The rest of the time I can do it, but it would be useful. But yeah, if the water bowl were sitting there, she'd drink too much and then she'd pee all night. That would be bad. Not to keep the discussion of my dog's pee continuing, but Andy mentions Jake Tapper's book. So Jake Tapper wrote a book about Biden, and basically that Biden's health was much worse. His mental health was much worse than people let on, and that was bad. A lot of Democrats got upset. The book came out last week. Democrats got upset and were like, really? We're in the middle of a fascist takeover of the U.S. government. We're killing people in Africa and everywhere else. And you're upset. You're still upset that Biden had failing mental health last year when he was president. And he's gone now. And now we've got a fascist takeover. And you're still talking about that. That's why they're upset. They feel like it's incredibly inappropriate. Having said that, and I think Jake's not totally wrong. Jake's not totally wrong. His point is, by lying about Biden's health and hiding it, the White House people especially, but also Democrats who met him. I mean, Democrats met the guy. Sasha, go out. Hey, thank you. She's going halfway out and leaving the screen open so her butt's sticking out. Jake's argument from what I'd read was, look, by lying about Biden's health, you helped him stay in office. Biden was supposed to leave office he was supposed to not run again. That was his promise. And then he started liking it and he wanted to stay. Had we been honest about Biden's health, Biden would not have been able to stay. Had we been honest about Biden's health early on, people would have said, oh yeah, he's getting a little slow. Clearly he shouldn't be doing this again. And we would have had 2 years for Democrats to have a primary. Maybe we would have picked a better candidate. Maybe Kamala Harris would have herself become a better candidate having 2 years of a primary. But we maybe would have had a better chance beating Donald Trump, right? Had people not lied about Biden's health. That's Jake Tapper's argument. And I think he's not wrong. He's not wrong, right? But at the same time, it feels like, Germany in the 1930s and the H-man has taken over, and somebody says, I really think we should write a book about the socialists. The socialists are really bad. And it's like, the H-man has just taken over Germany and he's like starting to kick out the Jews and stuff. Maybe we should talk about him instead. Oh, that was a really cool gift. Was that Adventures? Thank you, Adventures. I haven't seen that. That was really cool. Thank you. That was very cool. Thank you for that. So that's the upset at Jake, and I can appreciate that. Thank you, Kate Delight. Keep the gifts coming, guys. A few more before we go. So I can appreciate that too, because I think it's just like the timing of it is just like, with everything Trump and Elon are doing, I'm not sure. Like I tweeted a Wall Street Journal story, and it's let me pull up the Wall Street Journal, because I laughed when I saw the Wall Street Journal story, because I was like, really? I mean, they're trying to make it like, oh my God, a scandal. Oh, this was it. This was the Wall Street Journal story. Okay. Latest revelations about Biden's acuity put Democrats in a tough spot. No, it doesn't. Democrats don't care about Biden's acuity. Clearly, Biden's acuity was not great last year. He hasn't been president for many months now. He's gone. A very bad man has taken over. It doesn't put by. Gosh, you're right. We have a fascist takeover of the United States with somebody who's literally killing children in Africa, who's committing crimes left and right, who's profiting off of the U.S. government for his family and himself, literally making money off the government, right? Is eliminating entire agencies illegally. But Democrats are very worried that a book came out about Biden's, brain a year ago. Think Adventures. I mean, I find this Wall Street Journal, I just find this kind of stuff ridiculous. Put Democrats in a tough spot. Sasha, you already had water. Stop. So it's just, well, and of course you're going to see lack of respect from Don Jr. and other Republicans. You're not dealing with nice people, and the dehumanization is why they do. It's what they do. I mean, a lot of the MAGA stuff is dehumanizing. Whether it's, I've said this, I'm not a big fan of illegal immigration, but their approach to it is just dehumanizing, sending people to Libya. They don't consider these people humans, that's what they do across the board. They just demonize people. They demonize. It's what they do, Yeah, well, Trump's mental health, good point. Actually, good point too, Jeffrey. That's true. Trump, who literally has had slurred speech for 8 years, and there's been no book about Trump's mental health from the media. Remember, I wrote about it at the time on my blog, I think it was, about Trump. I pulled up a clip of Trump's slurred. Oh, hey, Marion. Thank you for that. Marion's back. Woo. And I think I blogged about it, or I tweeted it or something, but I wrote something about Trump's slurred speech because he was in the Oval Office giving some address, and he says, "God bless you, God bless whatever, and God bless the United States of America." Hold on, I'm going to pull this one up. It was horrific, this clip of Trump. Hold on. Trump slur, God bless America. It was horrific. And the media kind of mentioned it quickly. Here we go. Oops. Hold on. Quiet. All you could do. What is this doing? Why is this not? I have no.
God bless the Palestinians and God bless the United States. Thank you very much.
God bless the Palestinians and God bless the United States. Yeah. I mean, he had, I think that may have been the one where basically a number of us talked about it. CNN mocked my tweet and said, oh, there was a blogger or whatever who said his speech slurred. It was obviously his dentures. And I'm like, obviously his dentures? Does he have his dentures? They asked during his physical, and the doctor says Trump doesn't wear dentures. It's like, oh, okay. And during the physical, that was the physical where the guy said Trump was going to live 200 years. He admits, by the way, everyone's forgotten this now, because again, the media doesn't care about Trump's health. His doctor during the physical admits that, well, recently after an Oval Office, he means that, an Oval Office thing, the doctor was called to the Oval Office to check the president and just to make sure, and he was fine. Everything checked out okay. Basically, they were afraid he was having a stroke, and they didn't even get Trump to go to the doctor. They rushed the doctor to the Oval Office to see if Trump was having a stroke, and they didn't tell us. I mean, so yeah, tell me about Biden's health and not coming clean, right? But that thing, Trump has had slurred speech for 8 years. Why is that? Thank you, Mighty Hood. Thank you, Jocelyn and Jay Shea, for the gifts as well. Anyway, ugh. What else, guys? As always, we don't have to go an hour and a half here. You know. Mike says, Ben Shapiro is saying Zelensky is doing all the stuff that Trump wants him to do. Vladimir Putin is not doing the stuff that Trump wants him to do. Yeah, except that Trump is then praising Vladimir Putin, of course. No, Putin is totally making a fool of Trump at this point. You know? I am not convinced that they knew about Biden's diagnosis, about the prostate cancer. I'm not convinced. I'm really not. You know, supposedly they found it on Friday. I wouldn't be surprised if they found it on Friday. Here's the problem too. I mean, if they already knew about the prostate cancer a couple years ago and it's reactive to hormones, then it probably wouldn't become stage 4 and get into his bones, right? They would have been able to control it. So that's one more reason. So like, right, if they knew about it several years ago, then in other words, the argument is, well, they should have known, so clearly they're lying. Okay, then that means a couple of years ago they should have known as well. So it never would have reached stage 4 ever. So how did it reach stage 4 ever? Because a couple of years ago they also would have known it was happening, so they would have stopped it before it reached stage 4. So how is it stage 4? Unless they're lying about it being stage 4, then why would they say that? They wouldn't lie about it being stage 4. You never lie and say it's worse than it is. That's crazy. So it's hard for me to imagine why they would lie and it actually would have been from a couple of years ago. Because, like I said, if it was a couple of years ago, it still wouldn't have been stage 4. So why would they say stage 4? It just doesn't make sense to me. So, you know. No, he would have absolutely approved the treatment. That's not true. They would have, if he were out of it, his wife would approve the treatment. There's no way. No way. Anyway. And again, Biden's medical records are totally public. Biden's doctors put all of his medical records public. Trump hasn't put anything. And Trump has lied about it from the beginning. Remember Trump's first medical record was that doctor who died, the one who looked like Dr. Frankenstein? Remember the little guy with the glasses and the hair, the exploding hair? And he wrote like the first crazy letter about Donald Trump's health that was just insane. From the beginning, Trump has been not being, upfront about his health. And again, this is where the Trumpers really excel though. Donald Trump's people, Donald Trump supporter claiming not being upfront about your health is a very bad thing. Donald Trump supporters saying that. I mean, really. I forgot. Did the FBI raid his office? I forgot about that. That's funny. Anyway. All right, guys, we may end this shortly because it's kind of died down a little bit, which is fine. But la. All right, I think we're going to wrap up, guys, just because I had been warned by the powers that be, like on TikTok, especially if you kind of drag it out and the show's like kind of people are getting tired, it hurts your TikTok ratings or whatever the hell. Like the algorithm goes, this show is not very interesting, and it remembers. So we don't want TikTok to think our show is not interesting. TikTok, not Discord at this point, Jetta. We should do Discord another night at 7. Let's do that. Let's do it earlier because we haven't done Discord in a while. I mean, we do the weekends, but we haven't done it in a while after this show. I say we jump on Discord, like maybe even tomorrow night at 7, if there's not a ton of news. Because even honestly, tonight we could have even jumped on Discord at like 10 too, really. But let's do it another night. We'll do that. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. Speaking of Discord, I'm going to start with you all. If I can figure this out. There it is. Okay. I was trying to get my Discord straightened out here. There we go. Oh, just Jeffrey. All right. See you, Jeffrey. Have a good night, guys. All right. YouTube, you're next. And then TikTok. TikToks. YouTube. No, YouTube's first. Bye, YouTube. Good to see you guys. You missed the Ukraine report. Very simply, Trump claimed victory in a phone call with Putin today. Putin's going to negotiate a ceasefire. It's great. And all the media, Wall Street Journal, Sky News, everybody went, he's crazy. Like literally, Trump announced nothing. He announced absolutely. He announced, oh, Ukraine and Russia are going to talk more at some point about a ceasefire. And Russia said, oh no, there's lots of precursors to talking about a ceasefire, like getting rid of the Enzis running Ukraine. They want Zelensky to step down before they have a ceasefire. They want you. So that was the big story from Ukraine today was Trump declared victory with his talk with Putin. And literally every analyst said he announced Putin, and Trump had threatened to put sanctions on Putin if he didn't agree to a 30-day ceasefire. Putin didn't agree, and he got Trump to agree. He got Trump to agree not to do the sanctions. So they talked for 2 hours. I'm going to guess about Trump's new hotel in Moscow, but that'd be my guess. So, by the way, Trump, they talked for 2 hours. An hour and 55 minutes of that was Trump going, rah, 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 rah. And then he says to me, sir, with tears in his eyes, sir, right? Think about it. Trump talking for 2 hours to Putin was Trump showing off to Putin for 2 hours. And with the translator, 1 hour, right? But Trump, rah, 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 and Putin just lets him go. Because what do they say? I thought I'd read that years ago, like that basically if someone talks all the time and doesn't let you talk, it sucks. But if you let them talk, they think they're having a good time. Like they think it's a good date if you let them talk. Now, it's not a good date if they talk and you don't talk. But basically, if you just let them go on and on and on, they think, well, this is really good. So that was for interviews. I was told that. Like if the interviewer just keeps talking, let him talk. I don't know if it's true, but I was told just let them talk because they will come back thinking that was a good interview. I had fun because they had fun because you told me about your life story for an hour. So yeah. Biden added about half the debt that Trump did. The exact figure might be 4 billion compared to, or 4 trillion, not billion, 4 trillion compared to Trump's 8 trillion. And the interesting thing is that when you take out COVID, Trump's debt was still more than Biden's. It might have been 4.8 versus Biden's 4, but it was still more than Biden's when you take out COVID. So, all right, YouTube, I'm signing off. Have a good night, YouTube. TikTok, you're next. Burp, 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 burp. All right.